Good evening, everybody. I think, for once, we are live both on YouTube and Twitch, which is pretty cool. Fortunately, I can't figure out where I put my glasses down, so I'll be glassesless tonight. But good to see everyone. Let's see who's here. I see Garrett. I see Paul. Paul is just going to be supervising. Adam was here, what is that, almost an hour ago now. Scott was here about half an hour ago. Good to see you all. Britt, hi, good to see you. Good to have you here. Hope you all are doing well up there. Hope you had a fun birthday party. Tonight's gonna be a fun stream, hopefully. We're going to be doing a few different things here. We're going to be trying to get this Micro Trains Boxcar ready to go. Trying to get it, as close to done as it can, just the car itself, and then I'll have to build the scene around it. But that's going to include getting the figures in place and getting some Micro Trains coupler parts loaded up in the car. And that should be pretty fun to do. So that's task number one for the night. That's what we're going to do first. Once that is done, we are going to be jumping into some weathering. We're going to be trying to do some, the starting phases of weathering on these two new to me Home Shops cars. This is the Ohio Southern and the St. Louis County Railway. 40-foot rebuilt boxcars. Hopefully we'll be able to in the future at some point have some more end scale home shop stuff, and these won't be the only ones. But regardless of whether or not that is the case, we're gonna have some fun with these cars. Ray, good evening, good to have you. Hope you are doing well. So before we get started on any of that tonight, I do have, well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is my decal order from Fusion Scale Graphics arrived, which is, has the decals for the winners of the giveaway. I sure do, Paul, but that's a surprise. We'll get there in a second. Possum Bayou, good evening. Good to have you. But so my decal order arrived. Great. It's got the decals for the giveaway, which will be, should be going out to their new owners, and it's got some other projects on here. Unfortunately, the bad news, it sure looks like I appended the wrong file when I was designing the decals. If I can pull up the camera settings real quick and zoom in. Configure video, zoom. If you notice, these decals are nice and crisp. The B and CCS logos everywhere else are incredibly pixelated. So somehow I managed to append a pixelated file, and I have to double check my file and see if that was on my end or on their end or what the case was. But I also did make the mistake of leaving in my reference lines and having those all extended out and stuff, which means that the whole print got shifted over. So how'd I get them to stay still long enough to do that? To do what? What did I do? Who did I get to sit still? What? I'm lost, Paul. In any case, let's bring the zoom back out just a little bit, and we'll get these out of the way. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to be redoing these decal orders. I gotta look at my file and see if I did attach the wrong thing, or if something happened on their end. Oh, Adam. That makes a little bit more sense, Paul. Oh, boy. You had me real confused there for a minute. Haley, good to see you tonight. Hope you've been doing well. They're glued to a board. That's good. That'll keep him from bolting. In any case, so this decal order, there is there's maybe one project on here that I have everything to do. Everything that's good to go, which is, well, there's 2 projects. Because this one is clipped. And this one's missing that. Yeah. So I have 2 projects that I can do with this decal sheet as is. Or 1 3/4 projects. I can do some of these HO and N. Well, I can do a couple of these N scale boxcars, these N scale 40-foot cars. And I can do 90% of my Lehigh Valley X Conrail RS11. But everything else is gonna have to be reset. So Heath, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Am I coming to your next session? Your next session is the 27th, if I remember correctly. I have to check my calendar. Calendar. 27th. I don't know if I can make it, unfortunately, Heath. I've already got an appointment for the 20th. Well, actually, it depends on the time and the date and stuff like that. But have I ever done a decorated boxcar? Not entirely sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about like dude, I don't know I don't know how to respond to that, Heath. I don't know what you're talking about. But that might be operator error. It's an honor to get invited to Heath's. Just to get invited, or so you've heard. Oh, it's an honor and a privilege, that's for sure. No, I do really want to get back to your layout, Heath, and see how it runs with the new track plan and stuff like that. But we'll have to see. Undecorated boxcar. That makes more sense. And well, I should be able to do some undecorated boxcars based on what I have on this sheet. Some of the things that are not pixelated. But unfortunately, I did have... I apparently had some issues with Fusion Scale and getting the graphics right. And I don't know if that's on me or on them. I have to look into it still because these only arrived. Well, they arrived yesterday, but I didn't have time to look at them yesterday. So, or maybe today. Yes, I have done undecorated boxcars. I just haven't done the ones in particular that I think you're talking about, Heath. I was kind of hoping to finish my move up before, or at least finish moving my basics over to my new place before I break out the paint, the airbrush again. Which reminds me also, I'm gonna jump into getting started on this project so we can maybe talk about some freelance stuff in a minute. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be the last time you see this background on my live stream. I am hopefully by the end of the week going to be fully, or at least substantially moved into my new bedroom at my grandmother's place, which will be wonderful for me because it'll allow me to have a lot more space to do everything. It'll allow me to be a lot more organized, and it'll be good. I'll have a bedroom and an office/train room, which is great. So, in any case, so I'm going to go ahead. So, I am moving about 5 minutes down the street. So. They find a way to print what you sent, even if it's not ideal. Yeah, exactly, Paul. So I have to look at my file and try and get in touch with them and try and figure out what happened. But yes, Heath, I am moving houses. I'm moving about 10 minutes down the road to my grandmother's house. Moving out of my family's home and into a space of my own, which will be very good for me. So much room for activities, yes. Room for, hopefully, much model railroading. You just don't listen. Yeah, well. You and I have that in common, Heath. Okay. So, getting the car back on the frame here, I'm going to go ahead and open up my people and try and figure out where I want them. Because I want to get this project done, and then we're going to talk about the super secret thing that Paul was trying to get me to hint at earlier, which is actually really not that secret. It's been hinted at, but we are going live with it. I believe tomorrow was the decision that was made, either tonight or tomorrow. This will be the preview. Secret, you know, not so secret because it was posted around, but regardless, we'll be talking about some freelance connections, which will be very fun. Lived with your grandma for a few years before you moved to Colorado. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'm actually really looking forward to it. What are you talking about in Arc 4, Garrett? I don't know what you're talking about. Just kidding. Yes, I do. Yeah, so once I get this to a good place tonight, which shouldn't take too long, I think, I will be discussing the brand new... Oh, I'm soft launching this sucker right now. It's live. Oh, boy. All right. All right, we'll pause on this. We'll pause on this, Paul. All right. Let me get it pulled up. Let me get what I need pulled up here so I can soft launch it right now for you. I'm gonna pull up the little teaser post that we made to talk about it. Come on. Open up. Nope. I gotta do it now. I gotta do it now, Paul. You said. Now means now. I'm just following orders, Paul. Also, I just want to confirm with everyone out there, the stream is working. You all can see things, right? You all can see me, and my little preview thing here is not working quite right. So I just want to make sure before I do anything else. I mean, no one's yelled at me yet because they couldn't see anything, so I'm assuming it's working. But I just want to confirm. Father, a wrench in the works. Yeah, well, he tends to do that when it comes to me. Working great. Okay, good. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Where is OBS? Transition. There we go. So this is the official soft launch of the Association for Railcar Conformance. See? I got it right that time, Joey. Conformance. It helps that it's in front of me on the screen. But the Association for Railcar Conformance, which is part of the Circa kind of story that we, all of us in the background of the short line and regional carriers of America kind of came up with. Paul and Joey and John Farrington all brought me in on the kind of behind the curtains, so to speak, to try and pull this together, because for those who don't know, Circa was formed in 2002. But we wanted, there were a lot of modelers out there who model freelances before 2002, myself included. I went ahead and did some, I've pushed some of my BNCCS stuff forward a little bit so I could participate in Circa, but now that we have, we've been developing this, I can go full on and dive in. So let me pull up my document here so I can make sure I'm not messing with the lore, which I am super grateful to let you guys all in on it, and I'm super grateful to Paul and to John and to Joey for letting me kind of develop this, because this story kind of came from my mind. So we'll go ahead and read out some of this history, Ray, and hopefully this will answer your question. So to set the scene, during the Second World War, railroads in North America had really incredible business, higher tonnage haulage, higher rates of tonnage hauling than ever before. But at the same time, the slipping of maintenance schedules was worse than ever, and deferred maintenance began to really take its toll once the war was over. And both the railroads and the shippers started to notice. And in addition to that, the new diesel locomotives began to come on the scene in earnest after the war, with the restrictions lifted. So all of this kind of led to, the diesel obviously were somewhat more reliable, instant on than the steam locomotives tended to be. So there was a desire for the cars, the rail cars that the locomotives were pulling, to be just as reliable. And in response to this, in 1946, the Association for Railcar Conformance, or ARC, was formed by a combination of major railroads, regional railroads, and short lines, with the stated goal of setting the standard for freight car maintenance. ARC would, quickly become the authority on well-maintained rail cars. They were one of the key groups to lobby the government to adopt roller bearings as standard and to abandon cast wheel sets. And throughout the 1950s, seeing an ARC logo, which you can see in the top left corner of the screen there, a great logo developed by the brain trust, but especially Joey B. Was the graphic is sort of the graphic designer of the team, and he did a great job pulling together the logo. But seeing that logo on a piece of rolling stock meant the shipper could expect a safe and secure ride for their products, and railroads could expect a worry-free interchange experience. But as the 60s and early 70s began to roll around, the railroading scene began to shift. New rail cars were designed and being ordered by the railroads. More stringent rules and regulations were put into place by the new Federal Railroad Administration, or the FRA, and ARC was somewhat slowed on the pickup to keep up with the suddenly fast-changing railroad scene. In addition to this, a lot of mergers began to happen, and as those mergers whittled down the number of railroads, these new, bigger, mega railroads began to see it as unnecessary to be a member of ARC. Since a lot of the inspection regimes that ARC had in place were already being covered by these new federal requirements. And with the increased size and resources they had, it just made more sense, both cost-effective and, from a business perspective, just to do in-house inspections and maintain federal standards and not go above and beyond for ARC. But as the 70s and into the 80s began to come around, these mergers started to abandon all of these, more marginal lines. And a lot of these marginal lines would become spun up as short lines and regional railroads. Many of these smaller roads would then go on to join ARC, since for them, the economics worked out. It was a lot more economical for them to outsource their inspection and basic servicing than to keep it in-house. And while the benefits, especially for the larger roads, were relatively small, the sharing of resources and the collaborative community that would begin to develop around these smaller railroads would be a boon not only to the companies, but also to ARC itself, boosting membership because, it formed a community. The inspection checklists would start to become catered to more inexpensive but safe and effective ways to maintain the second and third hand pieces of rail equipment, and ARC members would collaborate on shipment routes to make their services more effective for their customers. Pushing forward into the 90s and early 2000s, this kind of continued on until 2002 when the Short Line and Regional Carriers of America, CIRCA itself, was formed. With CIRCA's more modern management style, its focus on smaller railroads to begin with, and their needs especially, and the incentive programs that CIRCA put out, like their discounted Class 1 interchange rates. It was effectively a codified and formalized version of what the Class 2 and 3 railroads that were members of ARC had already kind of put together informally in their community. So it didn't take very long for ARC's membership to go ahead and vote to pursue merging the two organizations, closing the curtain on the Association for Railcar Conformance after some 56 years of serving the railroads of America. So that's my story of ARC, that Joey and Paul and John were, allowed me to kind of curate and drive. And it just like CIRCA, the Short Line and Regional Carriers of America, will be available as decals for you to put on your freelance rolling stock shortly. And you can, join the community of CIRCA and ARC by doing that. So anytime between 1946 and 2002, you are going to be, just in the right region for your ARC logo to go on there. Before 1946, it just doesn't make quite as much sense. The state railroads we're in, they were kind of very isolated before the war, so we haven't really developed anything for that era. So unfortunately, all of you, steam era only groups, you're still kind of on your own. Maybe someday we'll put that together, but now from the transition era all the way through the modern era, you can put some CIRCA or ARC logos on your cars to, associate with the community, connect your railroad to the story of many other railroads out there, and to go ahead and, show your shippers that you have kept up your rail cars to a standard. Siegfried the Dragon on Twitch. Good to see ya. It's good to be back on Twitch. I figured out multi-streaming. I jumped to YouTube because that's where my main community is. But I'm doing well. I was just talking about this group that I'm part of the team on for freelance model railroads that we've been kind of developing this story of. But it's been a lot of fun. So yes, join the universe of freelance railroads with confidence, Joey. Exactly. Oh, you ran out of fun, so geez. Good to see you, Jeff. Welcome in. So, there's your soft launch of ARC. There should be a post out, I believe, tomorrow on the Short Line and Regional Carriers of America page, either tonight or tomorrow at some point soon. That will be up there with the whole story for you to read again and refresh yourself on. But the decals are out now. So you can click on the link that Paul shared, and actually let me copy paste it over to the Twitch chat as well. That way, folks over there can have it as well. There it is. Picked up 3 new HO scale locomotives. Nice. So yeah, that's ARC. I'm super grateful to be, have been called in on the team to help put this together. And obviously the BNCCS would be a big member of ARC, given my modeling era. So I'm super glad that they called me in and let me kind of drive the story in a way, and bring this freelance community to a new era of modelers. So with that, oh, don't do that. There we go. Good. With that, I can now jump back to working on some of that modeling that I'm talking about. So you'll be scheduling a post on the subject tomorrow. Good to know, Paul. So check out the Sarka Facebook page for that tomorrow. Right now, Heath, there is at least one other railroad, which you will find out tomorrow, but it might have a Riverside persuasion. Adam will need the logo for both ARC and Circuit to add to Soylent. Yep, we are, going to be hopefully doing some overlap, some stuff where, we're going to be hopefully seeing people, like I'll be doing some on some of my stuff, where you have an ARC logo and then it's kind of patched out or fading through old patches to have the Circle logo on top of it, and that'll be fun. Siegfried the Dragon, my personal favorite route outside of my freelance is the New Haven. I've fallen in love with the road. Jeff, trying to get the N-scale guys to be recognized for your stuff, but oh well. Not entirely sure what you mean by that, but I wish you luck, Jeff. Yeah. All right, see you around, Jeff. Thanks for tuning in. Ray says you'll have to be voted in. Oh boy, no one's gonna vote for you. We have scale letters in ours. Closet Branch, good evening. Hartford, Providence, and Fishkill can't afford any memberships. Someone already bought decals before you posted the link. Wow, they were really on it. There will be more to come out of the ARC and Circle groups in the months ahead. We are always planning, indeed. Ted, first of all, good to see you. I saw you were in here before, but I was in the middle of my spiel, so I didn't say hi to you. So good to see you, and I don't know, Heath. Maybe you'll have to give that some thought. That's a good one. That's a really good one, Ted. All right. So let's get back to work here now. Now that the news is out and the fun stuff. Ray and Ted both hurt your feelings. You're gonna go cry in the corner. Oh jeez. Siegfried's favorite railroad is the GN and the BN. Those are both great roads. Great paint schemes. I actually, right now in my room, I have a Great Northern switcher that's got to get its way back to Heath soon. I'm almost done with the programming on that, Heath. I just got to tweak a couple more things and make sure it's working. But that should be coming back to you. And I was hoping that I would get everything back to you at once, but I might just give you back the locomotive before, depending on whether or not I need to reprint these decals entirely. But we'll see. Ted's got some tissues for you. Oh boy. Well, I was gonna be mean, but I decided to be nice. Keith. Someone get out their tiny violin. Yeah, here you go. I'm playing the world's tiniest violin for you, Heath. Siegfried on Twitch picked up a Scale Trains BN Bicentennial 40-2 on Saturday. Sweet. I love Bicentennial Steve. Someday I'll get back to working on the Bean CCS's Bicentennial locomotive. That project's been on pause, I think, for long enough. I really ought to, once I get finished moving, I really got to get that set back up. Am I going to Amherst? Yes, I am. I'll be there all weekend, Heath. I know I saw you made the decision to go, even though you were originally not planning, so maybe I can give you the things back then, if you want. Joey sold all his Bia and stuff recently, said, but it won't be run anymore. Yeah. That's what I went in and sold or stripped all my old UP stuff, because originally, when I first was getting into the hobby, I thought I was going to model the UP out west. But then I fell in love with the New Haven and the Maybrook line, and here in the Northeast, and here I stay. All right. So I got to figure out how I want to. All right, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to take these guys. Bring the loco on Saturday. You'll be there for the one day only. Okay. Yeah, I'll bring it there on Saturday. Scott! Welcome in. 25 more. Bringing you up to date on your walk. Greatly, greatly appreciated, as always. For those of you who don't know, Scott, well, first of all, for those of you who don't know, I've been all last month and all this month, I'm raising money for Breakthrough T1D, which is a group that supports diabetes research and awareness campaigns. I am, as you can see in the corner over there, we have raised, now with Scott's latest donation, $2,120, which is mind-blowing, like a mind-blowing amount of money to me. That's huge that you guys have managed to raise that in the last few weeks, and I can't thank you guys enough for being so generous. But the donation is ongoing. The donations are ongoing, rather. We are continuing to donate, and on YouTube, it's down in the description and below. On Twitch, I don't actually know if it's linked on Twitch, because I'm not used to being on Twitch yet. Again, so I will link it in the chat real quick. If I pull up Tiltify. Copy this. Paste that. Now it is in both chats for anyone interested. Siegfried the Dragon, I do have a Discord group. I have it linked in my YouTube chat. I will have to I'll have to get that linked over on Twitch as well. I need to figure out how to stream on Twitch again. I've been streaming on YouTube for a year now, and I'm very familiar with it. Well, more than a year now. But I've gotten very familiar with YouTube. I gotta relearn Twitch. But let's see, what's everyone talking about? Everyone's talking about stickers. Where did I think I got mine at Sticker App or something like that. Ted's got his at Sticky Brand. Adam's got his at Death by Stickers. Circa ones are from Vinyl Disorder. Siegfried, yes. The Discord group is train related. It is. I call it my train club. Mods, if... Well, nope, that's not going to work because you guys are on YouTube and not Twitch. I'll quickly grab... Go here. Invite to server. Copy link. Close it. Paste the link. There's... Should be, I think. Hold on, does that work? Nope, that didn't work. Okay. Why didn't that work? Why did that just copy Discord? Invite to server. Copy. There it is. Now I have it. Back to here. Paste. There it is. That one worked. Paul, my Twitch is, well, it's exactly the same as my YouTube, so it should be pretty easy for you to find. What was I doing? Oh, yes, I was going to build a Micro Trains coupler box real quick. So I can stick it in these guys' hands. Some of you folks use Sticker Mule. Ray and someone else said something about Sticker Mule earlier. Higher up. Ted said he knows some people use Sticker Mule. Yep. Well, I can make one coupler box out of the parts that are here, I think. Yes. Alright, so let me quickly assemble a coupler box. Let's see if I remember how to do this. It's been a little bit since I've done one. Not that long, though. There's that. There's that. Now I just gotta get the spring in there. Hooray, you need FRA stickers. Ted, does that sticker look like a cup of pee by chance? Because if not, that's my vote for the how it looks. Go. Death by stickers is good, but they're backlogged all the time. Oh. There we go. Okay. Hey, I remember how to do a Micro Trains coupler box. That's fun. Okay, so now I gotta figure out how to get it into these guys' hands. So I guess I'm gonna have to trim their hands. Oh, I glued my X-Acto to my... Yep, I saw Siegfried. Welcome in. Hills Line Empire. Good to have you. It's a good name for folks who like yeah, for someone who likes GN and BN. It's you know, BN basically is what you're saying. Is that it is a Hills Line Empire. What Hill wanted, effectively, you know, BN, or the GN and the NP and CB and Q all rolled into one big railroad. Your logo may not have good ratios for sticker making. Didn't think about that way back when. Nonsense. You could make it a rectangular sticker. I mean, mine's a diamond with like, with wings out to either side, and I got stickers made, so. Yeah, I got stickers for my road. I gotta get more merch for the BNCCS to wear around. I got my hat that my lovely girlfriend made for me, which I'm super appreciative for, but that's all I've got still, so. Am I using Micro Trains couplers for all my rolling stock? So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do Micro Trains or if I'm going to jump on the N possible couplers. I started doing some standardization on Micro Trains, but then N possible came out and it's very tempting. The issue is I don't really have a ton of money right now to devote to standardizing on either. So most of what I have is Micro Trains right now, with some Atlas Accumate and some various other coupler brands that I have. A couple of McHenrys. So that's where I'm at coupler wise right now. I'm not working on stream, aren't I? Love how in 69 the GN owned the NP, the SPNS, and CB&Q basically by proxy. They realized they had to make it look legitimate. Yeah. Put a drop of CA on there. Let's try and get this coupler box glued to this guy. There we go. Yep, thank you, Scott. In fact, I'm gonna do this. That way I'm working more on camera, and I'm also gonna zoom because I have the power. Bam. Now you guys can maybe sort of actually see. So, Siegfried, to bring you up to pace, because I've been working on this on my YouTube streams. Basically, I have this Root of the Magnumatics Micro Trains Boxcar, which is super fun. And I am very, I'm very happy to have it. I won it, or I got it as a door. Yeah, it's part of signing up for Winterfest, which is the Northeast N-Track, T-Track, etc. little convention they do at the Springfield Train Show every year. But I'll never run it. I like to run a prototypical freelance road, so I want real railroads or freelance railroads that look real. But I'm not just gonna get rid of this because it's a fun car. So I decided I've gone ahead and cut off the door so I can mount it in open position. And I am going to have some guys unloading Micro Trains couplers and coupler parts out of the boxcar. It's a silly little thing. How am I dealing with the slinky bouncing motion of the Micro Trains couplers by adding short spring on one axle? So I'm not. This car has a spring on the axle. I don't know why it's there. It was there when I got it, but I just kind of deal with the slinky for now, as much as I hate it, which is one of the big reasons why I'm looking at potentially jumping over to the N Possibles, because the N Possibles work a lot better as far as slinky goes, and their scale coupler heads, which looks awesome. Alright, so now we gotta get this guy glued to the coupler box. There we go. Garrett, sounds good. See you when you get back. Chris, good evening. You thought I was jumping all the way over to HO. You got excited. Yeah, that's HO was fun, but I'm an N scale guy. You can't take the N scale out of N scale Train Boy. Come on, Joey. You know better than that. You may be able to put a little bit of HO in, but you can't take the N scale out. Come on. Ah, shoot. Come on, guy. Stay glued, dang you. You subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks, Siegfried. Good to have you on the YouTube side. I'm gonna try and keep doing both, since it doesn't seem to be eating up too much resources on my computer, which is great. But thank you. Said it only delivers goodies to the ho, folks. I'm off screen to the left. Oh boy. All right. So this is where I need to work. Oh, got it. Nope. Now I'm off screen low. There. Now I'm not off screen low. Thank you for yelling, Ted. I appreciate the yells. What's my... Excuse me. Welcome back, Garrett. What's my favorite steam and diesel locomotive? My favorite steam locomotive is the New Haven I-5 Hudson. I think it's beautiful. It's not like... I think it's the greatest steam locomotive ever designed. It looks beautiful. It's not super fancy or anything, but it doesn't need to be. It's got this kind of understated grace to it, which I really appreciate. And what is my favorite diesel locomotive? It's definitely an Alco. I love me my Alcos. But which one is my favorite? It's a tough question. I'm going to have to go with either the PA, the Alco PA, or the, probably something in the Century series, probably the C425 or something like that. C425, C430. Sounds good, Joey. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your beautiful graphics on Arc. Have a good night, man. Ah, shoot. What scheme for the I-5? I like the big script logo on the tender. If anyone made an i5 and N-scale, I would buy it right away. Favorites, your favorites? You got the 08 Super Mic on the GN and the DDA40X. The DDA40X is sweet. I had a DDA40X model for a while. Unfortunately, the cats knocked it off of my shelf that I had it displayed on, and it broke. And I sent it back to Bachman, and they said they didn't have the parts for it, so they swapped it out for a mountain for me to do up to the New Haven, but oh well. Let's see, where's the good picture of i5 with the large script? It's not a model, because there's lots of pictures of BLI model. Let me just look up New Haven i5. There's one. Boop, boop, bam. Open image, new tab. That is my favorite steam locomotive and my favorite scheme for it. It's just so, it's so sleek and streamlined, but also like very understated. As much as I love the Dreyfuss Hudson, the J3A Dreyfus's, they're very like in your face about it. Whereas the New Haven's i5s were very, you know, they kind of downplay their streamlining in a way that I really appreciate. So. That's what I like. Let's see. Siegfried likes the 08 because of how stupid overpowered they were. Yeah. Stupid overpowered on a steam locomotive is always fun. Alright, so we got those two guys there, and we'll have this guy on the knuckle end, I think. Helping out. So these guys will be unloading the coupler. Brutally streamlining. Not quite brutalist. I wouldn't go brutalist. It's still... I would say it's more streamlined modern than brutalist. Central is definitely Art Deco, though. You got that right. 08 is a mic with almost 78,000 pounds of tractive effort. Yeesh. Oh, man. That is one very powerful mic. Alright. So I know I'm working off camera, but I just need to in order to position these guys for a minute. Yeah, there you go. If it was brutally streamlining, Paul, it would be a block. It would be a rectangle. It would be, well, it would be the Metroliner. Yeah, of course you can post whatever in the Discord, Siegfried. Do I have any tips for modifying N-scale figures poses you would appreciate? I'm not good. I don't know how to modify the poses. If you notice, for these guys, I kept them in their existing pose and just cut out the box that they were carrying and swapped in the coupler. So I don't know really how you would go about changing the poses themselves. But in general, my recommendation for N scale is just slow and steady. You know, be careful and methodical, and it helps immensely. Ah. Heat gun might work. I would just worry about the integrity of the figure being lost a little too much. Come on, get in there. Stand up, dang you. Alright, we're taking this off. There we go. Post pick up one in general. You look at the third driver counterweight and a gigantic bell pair. Ooh. Alright. Oh wow. That thing is hefty. Oh man. I would pull it up on stream for everyone to admire. That is a hefty steamer. There's that huge, oh, basically half the wheel is the counterweight on the third driver and that big old bell pair. Man, that is a beast. That is a beast if I have ever seen one. Holy. Alright. So I think those guys are in a good spot now. So there they are. They're unloading their coupler, their coupler. And I think I'm gonna have this guy basically stepping down off of the car onto the slightly lower loading dock that I'm going to put on there. Roller bearings all the way around, 250 psi, superheated, 60 miles, could be pushed to 80 with some effort, and of course, yeah, the Vandy and the giant bell pair. Heck yeah, that's like the epitome of modern steam powerhouse. You know, with the superheated, high pressure boiler and the roller bearings and everything. Sweet. Oh, don't drop that. There we go. We'll get him glued in place there. Good, good. You love it because the GM looked at the Bergs and said, "Nah, we're going to a mic." Yeah. That's so great. Okay, so the issue with having glued this guy in place is now I have to work around him. This might have been a mistake. I might have to take this guy back off. Because now here's what we've got. 3 guys unloading this Micro Trains coupler. But I wanted to put more coupler box parts and stuff in the other, at least, you know, around the doors. But I kind of wanted to take the shell back off to do that. Let's see if I can manage to do this. Oh, there we go. I did manage it. Sweet. So I think I'm gonna go like roughly there. Oops. Roughly in there is gonna get some Micro Trains parts. Gene even hyped up Chesapeake to have 11,000 pounds of traffic. 11,000 pounds of tractive effort more than a big boy. Sweet. Oh man. Alright. So. Let's dump out some more Micro Trains coupler parts. Sounds good, Claude Branch. Thanks so much for joining for the night. I hope you enjoyed. It's always good to have you. Adams, take 5 on this print. Oh, jeez. That sounds like hell. I'm sorry. The GN was just run by ADHD foamers and you love it. Heck yeah. Other exciting news, Paul just finished listing Circa and Circa Class 1 partner decals in N scale. Woo! Hell, I won't be able. Well, I don't know. I might be convinced to apply something on an N scale car, to bring one N scale car or something up to modern date, maybe run on T-Track or something. But what I'm looking forward to is getting my ARC decals, 'cause those are gonna go everywhere. What was I doing? Oh, I was going to zoom out just a touch on my camera. Yeah, what was that about ADHD foamers? Ooh, shiny object. Anyways. I guess the question is, should I put together some full coupler boxes, or should I just load up some parts? Do it, Garrett says. I'm strongly considering it. Just for fun. Just for fun. So then I could have, you know, a side-by-side HO&N car for the modern era and stuff. But I think I'm gonna put together a couple boxes to stack up. So 1, 2. I think I'm gonna trying to put together 4 coupler boxes here. Three. How fast were the i5s? The i5s were pretty speedy, but what they were really known for was their acceleration. Let me pull up the stats. See, where was the stats on speed? Come on. Let me just look up speed. Top speed. Top speed of 85 miles an hour. They could maintain 60 miles an hour plus 12-car trains for the Shoreliner and the Yankee Clipper. Anyways, they're fast. They're good locomotives. They're speedy. Let me pull it back up. Could be the only person in the world with a GWT gone with an ARC logo or a hopper with an ARC. That's true. That. Where did I put it? It's right here. There she is. She doesn't have any logos on her yet. But, if Paul says they'd go into ARC, which, of course they would. It's a fun program. Everyone should join ARC. Every freelance should be a member of ARC. That's what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3. So I need one more coupler box to put together here. 4. Yeah, they are stake free, but their main goal was New York to Boston. That was their run. Siegfried to Boston and New York to Boston and back on the Yankee Clipper. They got demoted eventually to commuter service because of their acceleration, but they were yeah, they're not super speedy. They're not super speedy. Yeah, they're speedy enough, but they're not super speedy. But they, like I said, they were known for their acceleration. They could get up. They could get up to top speed, and I don't remember the stats off the top of my head, but very fast. Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 coupler boxes to put in there. Is the hopper old enough to be ARC? Yes, it is. Leave that out for when I check Discord. Oh boy. GWQ was 83. What got me interested in the railroad? As in the New Haven, I presume? What got me interested in the New Haven was very local to, well, a few different things. Very local to me is what was originally a central New England, what eventually became a New Haven depot, which I would go to and visit and volunteer, and I met some really incredible guys, one in particular being Bernie Rudberg, who was an incredible person, and I'm incredibly sorry that he has passed away, and I don't have the chance to really dive into his incredible knowledge base as I go searching for this coupler part that went flying. There it is. But I started to get to know it. Oh, the railroad in general. Well, I'll continue my story about the New Haven, but then I'll jump back to the railroad. You know, I did my Eagle Scout service project at the depot, and you know, kind of the more I spent time there, the more I fell in love with the New Haven. Because it was my local railroad. In addition to that, I fell in love with the Maybrook line, which is the line that the station was on. Specifically because it, you know, not only is it my local railroad, but it also was the railroad my dad watched growing up, because it ran basically through his backyard, and there was still Conrail running through trains over the line when my dad was growing up. So it was, you know, kind of a double whammy. And how I got interested in railroads and trains in general, I honestly couldn't tell you, because I've loved them for as long as I can remember. Garrett, have a good night. Great to see you. Great to have you. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, I've loved railroads and trains as long as I can remember. You know, my joke is that I was born in a hospital room that was overlooking the Hudson River, and, you know, seeing the, you know, hearing the Metro North trains and the Amtrak trains and the CSX trains cross the river and all that. That, you know, that's what got me hooked, you know, as a baby. But I'm sure it's some combination of Thomas the Tank Engine and my suspected autism and various reasons, but I've never been able to pin it down to any one given particular thing. You know, it's something to do with just the scale of it all, the size of it all, and the history of it. I love the history aspect of it. So it's kind of multifaceted. I gotta figure out a way to get the on-screen chat to show Twitch as well as YouTube. That way, all my friends over on YouTube can see your chats as well. Siegfried the Dragon. That way they don't think I'm just going totally insane. Which, of course, I am and have been, but that's neither here nor there. These springs are the most frustrating thing about Micro Trains coupler boxes. There we go. Could sound old even though you're 28, but you got in the railroad with help from the DM and IR. Sweet. Well, I'm sure I sound old even though I'm 24 when I talk about the New Haven. But, the DM and IR is a good road. That's a fun road to fall in love with. Ah. Screw this. Give me my tweezers. Now, when you're not at your full-time job, you're a volunteer diesel locomotive mechanic. Sweet. That's awesome. I'm a tour guide and car host. Because again, like I said, I love the history. So I'm a tour guide and car host at the Danbury Railway Museum, where we've got a ton of New Haven equipment, including a fully functional and running and operating Bud RDC, which we're running on our Christmas trains, which is a beauty. RDC 32. Miss the DMIR. I don't know why I'm putting the springs in these. I guess so that way I just have it done. But it's not like I'm putting these on cars. They don't really need to be sprung couplers. I don't know. I guess it doesn't feel complete without them. It's not a complete experience until I've struggled through putting the spring in. There we go. Spring. Come on, spring. Spring, get sprung already. as I said, the most frustrating parts of these coupler assemblies is this damn spring. Shoot. John, good evening. Welcome in, my friend. Siegfried, you're responsible for the well-being of a SW1, SW1200, 245 tonners, a Jeep 7, a Franken SD9. Oh, and the SDP40? You're in charge of the SDP40? Dude, that's sweet. I love the SDP40s. I almost wish it made a little more sense for my railroad to have some. You're in charge of the 325. Oh, dude, heck yeah. Where am I staying for Amherst? Ray, I am staying in, I think it's the Hilton Garden Inn. It's right next to the, Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield. And I'm staying there because it's the home base hotel for the, Winterfest convention. So they have a discounted rate for folks who are signed up for the convention. Which reminds me, I gotta check and see if my checks came in. That way I can write my check and get myself fully officially signed up for Winterfest. Alright, where did my coupler box go? There it is. .325's SDP40 that has a 645, never derated to 2300. Sweet. That's awesome. Scott, you're going to be dropping out. See you around, Scott. May not be quite next week. I'm hoping that by the end of the week I'm fully... I've got my desk at least moved in, and I'm hoping end of this week / sometime this weekend I'll be doing a new workbench setup stream. But, we'll see if we get there. Regardless, that'll be, one way or the other. I'll see you around, Scott. Thanks for tuning in. True by Hilton Chicopee with a home base for Paul and a bunch of folks. Yep. Still been, yeah, so the Hilton Garden Inn's nice, but I think it's a little expensive compared to some of the other restaurants in the area. Restaurants, other hotels in the area. I don't know. Like I said, I got the discount rate from them, so. You've been able to chat with Steve Sandberg, who owns the 261 and the Silva shop. Ooh. Yeah. Yes, Paul. I may or may not have stolen that idea from you. I gotta get there first, so we'll see. It may just wind up being my Monday night stream, depending on how long it takes me to get everything ready over there. I have to paint the trim in the bedroom still, and then I gotta move everything over. So we'll see. But Siegfried, that is awesome. That is getting to chat with the guy who owns the Silva shops and owns the 261 is awesome. Steve's such a 12-year-old when he starts talking about his locomotives. I mean, I feel like if I owned a steam locomotive, I'd be the same way, to be fair. Like, I don't know if I can help myself. Alright, I don't know where springs are, so I'm just gonna assemble this one springless. True, looks like the rooms are furnished by IKEA. I mean, I don't know, maybe they were. Rooms are nice and clean and breakfast is good. Well, that's good. Yeah, this will be my second year at the Hilton Garden Inn. It was good last year. Staying with I don't spend much time at the hotel. Do I want you to post pics of the SDP-40? Absolutely. You know, as long as you want to, feel free. Heck yeah, dude. There we go. 4 coupler boxes. I'm gonna kind of stack them up like this, I think. So I think what I'll do is I'll put some my canopy glue. There's my canopy glue. Most Hiltons are solid. It's your main hotel of choice. And with 280K points, yeah, that does make that a pretty easy. That does make that a pretty simple choice. That kind of negates the you know, this hotel costs a little more than some of the other ones in the area argument. Glue that right there, and this right here. I'm using my canopy glue, that way if I wanted to, I could always take these apart and use the couplers again. Pics posted, sweet. I'm gonna get these glued in, and then I'll take a look and maybe bring one up on stream. Where'd that other assembled coupler box go? There it is. Worked at a Hampton Inn during college. Thought for a bit you want. That's right. Thought you wanted to be in hospitality. Great hotel, well run, but the front desk job is mind numbing. Killed that career path for you. Yeah, that would do it. There she is. There's the 325. Oh man, she is pretty. There she is in all of her glory, with that steam generator compartment out the rear and everything. I like that. Excuse me. Open end possible. Restock soon so you can convert the few locals you have. Yeah. Past 9 p.m. you found yourself constantly fighting the urge to fall asleep. Yeah, maybe not the greatest thing to be doing at your work, Paul. So yeah, probably a good choice to not follow that career path. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Dang it. I screwed it up. I screwed it all up. She no longer has her steam generator due to the wreck in 79. She's still got the compartment back there, though, which is, I mean, that's a defining feature. Or one of them, anyway. Got so many Google Chrome windows open now. I gotta close all these down. There we go. Not when the GM lived on property and had insomnia. Oh, jeez. Yeah. That. Yeah. Could be problematic. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm using my, I'm gonna put a dot as CA. And no. Yes. Just the smallest little dot just to hold it in place. I don't think we're getting to these Home Shops boxcars tonight, I think. With the ARC announcement and, you know, getting this all figured out, this is taking me a little longer than I was hoping it would. There we go. That's good. Couple couplers over there, couple couplers over there. Let's get her wheel set back in place. And I dropped the wheel set. Oh, jeez. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. For a second, I thought it was going to be gone forever. Yet here it is. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. There we go. Now I think we're going to put some canopy glue on this door and get the door at least loosely in place. And I dropped the freaking door. Alright, here we go. There we go. So that's what our, oops. That's what our final product is going to look like. I gotta put a couple of, I gotta decide if I'm gonna put a couple of wheels underneath each of these pillars for the door to roll on, but I'm pretty happy with that as is. So now I just have to build a small diorama for the guys to be unloading onto. So maybe we will jump to, I don't know, I'm feeling a little sleepy, but I think we'll jump to the basics. Well, hold on. Let me see if I packed up my weathering paints and stuff. Oh, I have not. Okay, good. For a second, I thought, oh, shoot, did I pack up all my weathering supplies yet? I have not. Not yet. Soon. Let's get all my coupler pieces back in their box. Excuse me. Okay. Sweet. All right. Well, do I have my palette out still? Did I pack that up? It's hard when you're moving and you start packing things up and then you don't know what's where. I don't know where my palette went, so that's good. It's a good sign. We're off to a strong start on that front. Alright, maybe we'll just use this Woodland Scenics box that I've been using. I have my blending sponge. Take out the white gouache. Yeah, coming down with a touch of a cold. Small bit of gouache there. Load up my sponge with the gouache. Let's pull my boxcars in the frame here. We'll start with the St. Louis County car. That's fun. do a little more wash, slightly off cam. Oh, thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Excuse me. I really should be using gloves for this. So I don't get fingerprints on here. You know what? I'm going to get my gloves on. My glove box is right here. There it was. Oh, there it is. Fell down. Excuse me. There we go. It's time to practice medicine. To quote a wonderful game known as Team Fortress 2. Or something like that, I don't remember. Really load up here. I gotta wipe it away. On. Sort of flatten out the fade. Weathering indeed, Siegfried. One of my favorite parts of the hobby. I find it hard sometimes to strike the right balance when I'm using the gouache for a wash sort of effect to get the paint fade going. But I get it down eventually. we go. Now we're getting there. So this boxcar is for the St. Louis County Railway, which is a freelance railroad, fictional railroad, designed by a model railroader. And it's an Atlas car that was factory painted by Atlas for a company called Home Shops, which specializes in bringing home roads, freelance roads, to factory runs. So, this is their only N-scale release so far, is a run of these rebuilt USRA 40-foot boxcars. Which kind of stinks because they didn't sell very well, because a lot of N-scalers really aren't into the transition era. But I'm hoping I can talk to Chris Palmieri, who runs the company at the Springfield show this year, and try and convince him, using some of my rolling stock and also experience, and the fact that I have a good community around me now, to try and, push for some more modern N-scale stuff, some 70s, 80s era incentive per diem boxcars, or some, I don't know, some modernized covered hoppers, or some auto racks, early era auto racks or something. The issue is he's got to jump on with companies already making runs of these cars, and then he has to be fairly certain that they'll at least break even on the paint scheme to run it, which is why it's hard. Oh, pardon me. Well, that would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet, Paul. Here's hoping. Cheers to that. Alright. So there's that. Let's do the Ohio Southern car now. So I modeled 1975 to 1985, so these cars are end of life basically in my era, because they were rebuilt in the 50s, late 40s, early 50s, which gives them another 40 years of service, which puts them end of service in the 70s or in the 80s, mid 80s to early 90s, so they're pretty close to end of life. So I'm going to try and beat them down quite a bit. I might not go quite so intense as I did with my Delta Lines boxcar, which was actually from Micro Trains and not from Home Shops. But I will go pretty good. We do have Home Shops alum in Circa. You are right about that. We have a couple. I know we got the... Was Brian Sopke's? Was the Benton Southern? I think there was a Home Shops car release from that features the B&S. Who else? There's a couple. I remember seeing names that I recalled from looking around Home Shop's website, but I don't remember them all off the top of my head. So. There we go. Alright, that's alright. We'll go a little bit heavier on the OS car. Yeah, that's probably fine actually. Yeah, that's fine. Yep, B&S, yep. Okay, sorry. I did remember, that's good. I thought there was maybe one or two others. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I was thinking of other things, but I knew the BNS was. I'd have to look through. Try and mix up a little bit of light gray to do some grime now. I might even put a touch of brown in that. Bob Ross moment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bob Ross always used, you know, the back of a Woodland Scenics figures thing as his palette. That'll give us a good start for the grime anyway. I know. I'm not sure on this yet. I might go back and redo it. I don't know. We'll let it be for now, though. That'll do. Could you employ me to sing some John Bon Jovi? Oh boy. I just had to do it that time for Paul, didn't I, Ray? Sounds good, Siegfried. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's great to have you. Welcome to the community in Discord and everything. Super happy to have you, and hope to see you around. Have a good day tomorrow at work. Ray, to answer your question, how much we talking? my pipes need a little bit of lubrication. Oh, jeez. Excuse me. I think I might leave it there tonight, because there's not much more I can do tonight on these cars. I gotta let the gouache dry a little bit. Oh wow, you're already to 50. Excuse me. That's awesome, Ray. That is super awesome. I've been going. I keep flipping back and forth in my mind on whether or not I want one, because technically it would fit my small HO modeling era, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth on it, but I guess I'm running out of time to decide, so in any case, congratulations on that. That's huge. That's really huge. Yeah. Communities are so awesome, aren't they, Ray? I mean, that number up there humbles me every time I look at it. That, like... I'm just a guy hanging out. Excuse me. Yes, I get the OC discount. Which is, I think, what might push it over the edge towards me getting it. But every time I look at that number in the top left corner of how much money you folks have donated to Breakthrough T1D, I get a little touch of imposter syndrome. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just a guy. You know, I'm hanging out. I'm weathering trains. I'm working on models. I'm doing electronics and stuff. And every now and again, I shouted out that I'm raising money, and you folks so incredibly generous to have raised over $2,100 in like 6 streams. Granted, one of them was 12 hours long, and that was very tiring on my end, but also very fun on my behalf. But you guys blow me away with your generosity and with your support, and for just being here, you know, getting to know you folks, getting to become friends with you guys. It's awesome. It's really awesome. So I think I'm gonna kind of wrap the stream on that note. We'll just do a quick recap of what we did tonight. So we got our pretty good start on our magnetic coupler box, and a decent start to the weathering on these 2 cars, which I may wind up redoing off stream because I'm not entirely happy with them yet. So I might, you know, thanks to Butch, you know, I've gotten into the world, the wonderful world of gouache. You know, so thanks to Butch for that. But, you know, it's fairly easy to just wipe off. So can't wait to see what folks do to them when they get them. You know, Ted and Butch have plans. Yeah, I'd have to patch one for UP. The Borg consumes all. Yeah, next episode of Around the Layout podcast, sponsored by the Union Pacific Railroad. Running up the Corning secondary. Yeah, there you go. Ah. Alright. In any case, I think you've convinced me, Ray, I think, to come up with a plan for what I would do for these, and trying to come up with a plan for what I would do for your ATLP box. I gotta take a look at it and really, you know, look into it and decide. But in any case, I'm getting a little sleepy. Paul, I'm shocked you're still here. You were crying all about, oh, you're gonna be asleep by 10. Meanwhile, it's 4 minutes to 11, and you're still here talking about the Corning secondary. Yeah, FRA patch. I once again submit, Ted, for some FRA stickers and patches and so on to be in the shape of cups with a yellow fluid inside of them. But too nice and new for the Finger Lakes, you know. All right. On that note, I think I'm gonna call it a wrap. I'll probably take a look quickly at my decal documents that I shared with fusion scaled and try and figure out if it's my end or their end that something screwed up for these decals and try and get them reprinted. But in any case, you're not proud of it. Hey, you know, we all have our moments. In any case, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you all so much for hanging out. It's always so fun to chat with you folks while I'm doing my modeling and hanging out and stuff. So with that said and done, again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you all on the next track.